Welcome to 24 Hour Sports. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Today we have the perfect Pittsburgh Steelers NFL draft. If you know I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, but I haven't done any draft coverage or free agent coverage on this team just yet. Was waiting for a special occasion. Recently just hit 1,000 subs, and this is the type of video that we use to celebrate because it's time to rebuild Steel Curtain 2.0. Put a lot of thought process into this one. And also, this is a different format than what we usually see. Pre-recorded this video. I did this morning. I was extremely tired, so we might laugh at some of my thought process when we watching this, but I'm reacting with you guys as well. So I'm going to get straight into it. Don't want to waste your time, but I'm reacting, talking through my own process and letting you assess my own process, seeing exactly what we got. How did we get to the perfect draft by the end of this video? It's going to be a good one. So I can already tell you the first thing I did was I traded with the Dallas Cowboys, the 32nd pick. And let me tell you why I traded, because Deonte Banks was on the board with our first pick. And I think if Joey Porter or Deonte Banks is on the board, we got to get him. And Broderick Jones is kind of out of our reach. Some people say we could possibly trade up to get Broderick Jones or Paris Johnson. We don't have the draft capital to do such a thing. And I think cornerback and tackle are so important that we got to get those high-end guys. My cornerback for Deonte Banks, we get him right here. My tackle for, we get Anton Harrison. I think he's not on the level of those top three guys, but he's the level next to that. He's not that extreme athlete, but he's somewhat of a technician. And he's not a mauler in the run game, but he's going to use his length and he's going to get his hands on guys with hand placement and technique. A sound tackle. Going to be solid, can be a start of a foundation of an offensive line we try to build. So right here, you're going to see, I'm looking at some stuff, but I really ain't looking because it's only one thing I can go right here. Anton Harrison. And now after this pick, what am I even thinking right here? I draft him. After this pick, this is where it gets interesting. This is where things start to be on the table. So let's see it. Drop Steel Curtain 2.0 in the comments. So let's spam that. Let's really spam that. So this is an interesting one. I'm going to just let it play out and see what I'm thinking. I'm looking at Dan Henley, sideline to sideline linebacker, ultra athletic guy. But, there's some questions. How does he get off blocks? Zone coverage, as you can see right here. And I watched his tape, listened to him talk. A good guy. I would be good with us getting him. My only thing is that when we talk about linebackers getting off blocks, it's kind of a nitpick thing to me, because what linebacker realistically, even Fred Warner sometimes struggle when a guard gets their hands on him or a center gets their hands on him. You can also see I'm looking at interior lineman right here. Joe Tippmann has the projection to move down into guard. So I was looking at it for left guard depth. But also I thought about impact players. Like I said, Steel Curtain 2.0. I was thinking defense. That's the theme of this draft as we're going to get into it. So let's just see what I do. Carl Brooks, another interesting guy. Looking down the board there, but none of those prospects really strike my eye. But yeah, getting into it, what do you guys think we're going to do with Devin Bush? I think Devin Bush is probably out this door. I wouldn't cut Miles Jack. I think Miles Jack is the best linebacker we can get. As you see, I drafted Dan Henley. I just talked about him. Adding him depth into that room, can challenge to start over Mark Robinson, Robert Spillane, hopefully a guy who is on this team next season if we can bring him back. So, I like Spillane and Robinson. Like I said, Devin Bush, I wouldn't really lose sleep at night if he's not a Steeler next season. Dan Henley giving us some of that athletic stuff. I was excited when we got Devin Bush because we traded up to get him. And on top of that, we got him at 10th overall. A linebacker at 10th overall is crazy thinking about that in today's game. So that tells you his pedigree, what he was in college. Thought he was the next great one. Tore his ACL. Hasn't really been the same since. But, hoping for the best wherever he goes, or if he even becomes a Steeler next season. Right here, just looking at some guys, some different guys, Moro, Jamo, and it's some interesting guys right here. But ultimately, when I came back, I thought about it. Terrell Edmonds and DeMonte Kazee are both free agents. So as you're going to see, I'm going to look into this safety position. And I see Jamie Robinson on the board. I see A.T. Perry. Like I said, I like our receiving core. I don't really understand the receiver is a need thing. If it's there and it's too good to pass up, maybe you can tell me that. But I don't see it as a point of emphasis, as a point of focus. So I'm focused on interior and secondary. We got our offensive tackle, so that's solid. But this was really going to be a Najee Harris and a Kenny Pickett season. I mean, I'm hoping for the best. I'm wishing for it. It has to be the best. You know, I want to be a fan of a winning football team. So I'm doing everything I can to put that in place. Mike Tomlin, defensive-minded coach. How can we penetrate against the run game, maintain the pass rush with Highsmith and TJ Watt, and also cover in the back end? And then we want to be able to run the ball, throw the ball when needed. I don't want Kenny Pickett to try to go out there and be Mahomes or anybody like that. I just want him to be himself at the end of the day. And I mean, if he's being himself, then we're going to be really good. We're going to be really good. One of those older quarterbacks, we knew that when we drafted him. You see, I'm looking at A.T. Perry, clickers on him, but I don't take him right here. Looking at DL, Kobe Turner, Moro Ojamo, all interesting guys. Jacqueline Roy on the board. Like I said, I'm focusing on that interior. Got to see what I do right here. And see, you see that button. You see that button. Just keep going to A.T. Perry because he's a solid player, especially for that third round, that value. But I thought it through. I kept thinking it through. And I said, no, not going receiver. You see I'm hovering over Jamie Robinson, another interesting guy. Some good stuff we got going on. Who do I finally pick? Who do I actually end up getting in this third round? Travius Hodges-Tomlinson. I don't think Travius Hodges-Tomlinson is a slot. I think he's a small outside corner. A lot of people are saying just because he's 5'8", 5'9", throw him into the slot. You can see I'm back on Jamie Robinson, versatile safety, too high, has experience playing down in the box, in the slot. So basically a defensive player. I mean, that's all we're talking about with Jamie Robinson. He's a defender, Swiss Army knife, the type of guy you love, the type of guy you're not getting in the first round, but you need those guys on your team, especially in that back end. You see I'm looking at Travius Hodges-Tomlinson. I think he had a good season. I mean, the size, you know, it's obvious. We see right here listed at 5'9", 180. But I honestly don't even know why I was looking at Travius Hodges-Tomlinson. I'm back to Jamie Robinson. If you can understand by now, you kind of see who I'm leaning towards. We see slot and box snaps. You know, watch the tape on all these guys. And really, once I get to the end of the video, I'm going to talk back about it because I think this is an exceptional draft. I think I hit it out the park. And I mean, like I said, I had to. This is my team. There's no room for errors because we had to get this right. So, and like you can see right here, just looking through the depth chart a little bit, checking back on some things, understanding who our free agents are upcoming. And then, you know, came back to the other tab. And again, you see my name. It's staying around that same. I keep coming back to that Jamie Robinson area. Because that's just what I'm thinking. And I end up drafting him. Like I said, that's just what I was thinking. Seen other guys, but I thought about it. Terrell, and like I said, Edmonds, Kazi might be out the door. If they out the door, we're getting something special, even if they're in the door. Like I said, he played in the box. He played in the slot. He played in too high. This allows us to free up Minka some and let him get closer to the ball, make plays. Also, keep him at the one high safety. He can do a lot, really. So that was my thought process. And you see this next pick got Kobe Turner, a real interesting guy. If you haven't seen anything about Kobe Turner, you got to check him out. You really got to check him out because, I mean, the tape. And between this pick, my other guy I was looking at was Moro Ojamo. Like I said, and early in the third round, I was looking at him too. But I took Kobe Turner because I think he's a better fit. People saying they're seeing flashes of Hargrave. I wouldn't take it that far, but I do think it's interesting that his film is good. And, you know, like I said, his frame is not ideal for a nose tackle, but he can play 3 or a nose. And I think that's giving us, you know, room to free up Hayward. If we want to kick, ideally, I would kick Hayward inside and let other guys play the edges. But in this scenario, the draft didn't pan out like that as far as what we get, what we usually like as edge players. So maybe we can get something in free agency. And now we got interior depth because our interior was terrible last season. Couldn't stop the run, missed tackles in the back end, in the back seven, linebackers, safeties, corners, front seven. It just was poor to my liking. So that was really my emphasis in this thing. And then with my next pick, who we see right here, talking about that thought process once again. And Dorian Williams and Corey Bennett, some guys who really failed in this draft. But like I said, wanted to boost up that interior. And you see, looking at Jacob Slade, Michigan State, played in the 3, played in the 1. So some interesting stuff with him. I think he really can be a true nose at the next level. Bigger guy. Gonna have to improve his strength. Has the frame, but going to have to improve some of that play strength if we're talking about really being an impact player in the trenches for us. I went with Jacob Slade, as you can see, and I told you the reasons why. I think he could be a true nose tackle. And if not, he's challenging, rivaling for that spot with another guy. Got Chandler Zavila with my last pick. So now, right here, we're looking at all my picks, and we like the fact check. I told you, there's no sugarcoating, there's no faking. So right here, you can see we got A-, C on the trade, but we needed to make that trade. Dayan Henley, A+, Jamie Robinson, B+. I think higher than that, knowing that Edmonds and Kazi may be out the door. Kobe Turner, a C. I kind of disagree with that. And when we look at it, as far as the player itself, I think he's an exceptional player. Scheme fit, we're going to have to work with him. Like I said, him and Cameron Hayward going to be interesting to see how those two balance off each other. But Cam Hayward can kick outside. When we talk about passing downs, of course he can kick inside. But it's all about interior depth. Jacob Slade, a guy who I think can push the point. These two are really two penetrators, penetrating rush DNs. And I'm talking about run defense. I'm not talking about rushing the passer. Kobe Turner does offer some of that rushing the passer from the interior. I like that. Saw that on tape. But Jacob Slade, I'm not looking at a pass rush upside. That was really to add security and depth. When I'm talking about the interior, Chandler Zavila, like I told you, another stud in the 7th round, slid down. And I felt really good seeing him on the board, getting him right there. So, overall, hit on a lot of picks. Very solid draft that I saw. Deonte Banks, Anton Harrison, Henley, Robinson, Turner, Slade, Zavila. So when I talk about it, I got a corner. I think that's our biggest need along with tackle. But all the tackles were going at 17, so I had to pivot. And you understand, this is simulation. I can't control what the computer does. All I have to do is move around that, get the guys I think are scheme fits for us, and we need is fits. Get the best player in the scheme fit. So I did that, and I pivoted. Dan Henley getting in that 3rd round. Not a strong off-ball linebacker class. Jack Campbell, Trenton Simpson, guys of that nature, Dorian Williams. But I don't think a lot of them are going high. And I think this is really a smack dab spot for Dan Henley in that mid-3rd round to the back end of the 2nd round. I think that's really where he's going to be at. Jamie Robinson, another pick, a stud. But again, that safety position. When we get closer to this 3rd round, day 2, it's interesting because you can kind of make those picks knowing that the tackles are off the board, some of the corners off the board. Kobe Turner, like I said, I watched this film, watched him as a person, and I feel really good about bringing that into our mentality of a defense. Like I said, people was talking about hard-gritty flashes. Wouldn't take it that far once again, but did like what I see. Jacob Slade, again, push the point, penetrate against the run. Chandler Zavila, a stout, solid guard, adding depth at that left guard position. And that's really going to wrap it up. Overall, draft grade A. I rebuilt this steel curtain, whatever you want to call it. Again, spam steel curtain 2.0 in the comments. This was a really, really solid draft. And I love doing this because I just get to talk about the Steelers. And that's really all I wanted to do. Did it with the draft, had some talking points. Like I said, I asked you what you think about Devin Bush. What do you also think about Cam Sutton and Larry Ogunjobi, another guy? Marcus Allen. I think we bring back Robert Spillane looking at it. So it's really interesting. I like Harrison, Jalen Warren, didn't attack receiver. I like what we have. We got to work with what we have. Deontay Johnson, George Pickens can both go for 1,000 yards. So we have to better build that before we keep adding weapons and we can't even do nothing with what we already have. But right now, this is it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. We out.